Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another The Lone Crown show with a weirdly me doing OBS for the first time. So you have to blame OBS because I'm used to using XSplit. So you see all my Skyper information, maybe, but I mean, I'm more Crown story on on Skype. So anyone who wants to add me, feel free. I don't care. So today I have with me the Jab guy, or Anthony as he's like to be called, and we are going to discuss the Dragon Age world and the new up and coming Dragon Age Inquisition. So why don't you introduce yourself for people who don't know who you are?
Well, people know me, but for anybody who doesn't, my name's Anthony. On YouTube, I'm commonly known as the Amazingly Average Gameplay of Anthony. It's kind of like the whole title. Otherwise, if we try to abbreviate to AMSAV Game Man, everybody can't say that for the life of them, so it's AMSAV.
Well, that one is easy. The Twitter one is harder, I must say. AMSAV.
Yeah, that one is actually worse. That's actually supposed to be the abbreviation for what kind of started everything, which was the Amazingly Average Adventures of Anthony, because alliteration is awesome.
Yeah, the alliteration is awesome. It's just really hard.
When you try to abbreviate it, it's just shit.
Yeah. Even though I typed it perfectly now, when I am having your Twitter handle being the I always have something in the show, so really maybe it should have been Dragon Age, but that will be in the title, so everyone see
put
your
Dragon Age and just put AMSAV Advent to Dragon Age.
Yeah. Yeah, so as I've been or both me and Anthony had a Twitter conversation of Dragon Age because we just so hyped for it with a new gameplay video. So you're like, I've been hyped ever since. I would say, was it E3 last year they announced it?
Oh, I mean, when I saw that, I was excited to all hell because I love BioWare almost to the point where I guess you could kind of call me a fanboy, but I can see their faults. So I guess maybe not. Dragon Age has always been, out of a lot of their games, my favorite whole series. Don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Star Wars geek, and I love Knights of the Old Republic. Probably still one of my favorite BioWare games. But just as an entire whole, even with some of the faults with Dragon Age 2, I can't wait to see 3. The whole series to me is my favorite.
Yeah, I for me it's the same. I loved both of the Star Wars games, but Dragon Age Origins, just that game, for me, that game alone tops, and the universe is all of its glory. It just tops it for me as the best one. So yeah, I loved it.
It's just monumental because it's fairly long. I'd probably say it's what you'd expect from an RPG in terms of length, but it just felt like it was so much longer, and in a good way. It didn't feel like it never felt like it was dragging on. Yeah, it was just such a wonderful experience because you really became attached to a lot of the characters that were introduced. Not even just so much the main characters, which the main characters are great, but even just some of the side characters that were in that world, and even just what was going on. You really were excited to be a part of it.
Yeah. I mean, just Dragon Age Origins in the whole, every part, it was built so perfectly. You enter the first town where you get a couple of new people joining your group and such, and then you just get out it and you have 3 places where you need to get people to join your cause, and hold that premise made it so easier for you. It's always about how simple it is, and Ostagar, how it started and how that fight started. You have such a cool, great character, and boom, he's gone.
Yeah,
and that's the beginning. And
nobody saw that coming.
Yeah, You mean how they like he was in the beginning and stuff like that? You were almost thinking this is going to be your mentor, this is going to be this and that.
He was stone cold pimp. Like you just
Yeah.
saw him just decimating the Blight.
Yeah,
Well, not the Blight itself, but just the Darkspawn army that happened to be converging on Ostagar.
yeah,
And even like the before his untimely end. I guess we should say ahead of time, since we're going to be talking about the entire series.
Yeah.
There is going to be spoilers.
yeah.
So if you're interested in hearing, keep listening. If not, definitely do yourself a favor,
And
pick
pick
up
it
the
up.
Dragon Age series,
And
play it
finish
yourself,
it.
experience it. So,
Nate, finish it.
God damn it, Nate, you're
Yeah.
missing out.
We can explain the whole thing for you, but that would be
Just certain
Ooh.
things that were very interesting, like the whole thing with that. Just at the beginning, you introduced a major plot character, and just as quick as you see him and you think he's going to be this Billy badass, he's just taken out.
yeah. And also, like the king is taken out.
Oh, he just goes out like a bitch.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it just gone.
Yeah,
And the funny thing is in terms of the actual progression of story and even just the gameplay, it's nothing new. It's something the BioWare tends to recycle. But
Yeah.
the funny thing is despite the fact it's the same damn formula,
yeah,
you would think it would get repetitive and boring, but it's not. It's like
Yeah.
they perfected it, they make it unique, and they make it fun every single time.
that's what I. When it comes to stories, especially, I'm constantly looking at stories. I constantly try and make up my own, and it's always about being a clear picture. But other than that, you can do whatever you like. Just that people like how Dragon Age does it. Like they give you after like Ostagar happens, it gives you this like location. We need to recruit these people to join our cause to defend against the Darkspawn, and that's just like everyone can relate to. Like we have something we need to defend. It's done forever in stories.
I mean, there's always going to be this person is the hero story. What was also great about Dragon Age is the fact that you had different origin stories.
Yeah.
So you had the ability to play as either a human, a dwarf, or an elf, and even
Yeah.
from there, each
Yeah.
person had their own origin story based on even the kind of what class you were. Because if you decided to go mage, if you were to be elf or human, then that was a completely different story. Versus if you're to be Dalish elf, or if you're to be a
City.
noble human.
Yeah, or city elf, or like you could come from two different places if you were the dwarf. I mean,
Oh yeah, even then with with the dwarves you had the highborn,
yeah,
which they kind of, and the beauty of it too, without going in too much detail or spoiling anything, is no matter what origin you choose, they still manage to go ahead and weave in references to the other origins. So what the other ones you didn't play
Yeah.
as,
yeah,
their
they-
origin stories are still weaved into the main
yeah,
story.
in some way. Some of those characters.
There's like
still-
either a passing reference, or there's just basically just a default character that's meant to represent that origin that you didn't play.
Yeah. It's because that becomes interesting even in Dragon Age 2, with if you were a Dalish.
And
Elf,
even to that point, like with the whole the situation with the wardens,
Yeah.
they're not even completely heroes.
No.
They have to go through some really dark shit.
Yeah.
Just to even
they
become
literally drink dark shit.
Yeah, just to become a Grey Warden, you have to drink Darkspawn blood, and it will either kill you very horrifically right
Yes.
then and there, or you're able to join their ranks, to which you get immense strength, the ability to sense Darkspawn, and just be
Yes.
the overall awesome that is the Grey Wardens. But it comes at a cost, and
Yeah.
eventually,
You will
even then,
die.
it
Yeah.
comes at a heavy burden because it slowly eats away at you until you're just like dead.
Yeah. That's just. I mean, that must be. It's sort of like if we can get the like Game of Thrones reference in here, the wall. Is it
Yeah.
sort of the same thing except they, you will die quicker.
Yeah, you're guaranteed death, and anything there's glory in it because
Yeah.
you fought for the greater good.
Yeah.
But But yeah, no, I would say they're very similar to the crows, except for, yeah, because even with the crows, they're usually conscripted.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they're taken into the Grey Wardens even without a choice.
Yeah.
Even one of your origin stories, that's kind of the way it goes.
Yeah.
Is either you join the Grey Wardens or die.
Yeah.
But I guess the Grey Wardens, though, in most cases, not always. We've seen some examples where Grey Wardens can be bad, like really bad, not even just like they do bad things, they're just straight evil. But for the most part, they're a very honorable group.
Yeah, and
they are fighting for the greater good.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, wardens ended up sort of being like what you would say the N7 guys are in Mass Effect. And like I mean, those are the guys that you see is the sort of protectors of the whole Fides, sort of like from this blight sort of thing. And I think
they are the first and last defense against the blight.
And that's why I think one of the biggest things why Dragon Age 2 from the get-go didn't get that well is it's sort of like how they did with Mass Effect. They're like, oh, the second one, even though I personally like it as a game, I mean, they're like, oh, now we go off and fight the collectors and just we're gonna skip on doing what the incoming doom of the Reapers, and we're just going to off and fight the collectors. I mean,
yeah. But I will say, at least with Dragon Age 2 story, I felt like they handled it better. As much as I love Dragon Age 1 overall as a game, I do like the story of 2 a little bit better. I know this can be considered blasphemy to some people.
I
just felt it was more personal. I don't think that scale represents quality, like a lot of people think. It doesn't have to be a huge war of devastation for it to be a good story. It felt a lot more personal. You felt like you really got to know some of the characters more.
I'm just a little bit upset that you didn't have like, I mean, there are other 3 cities there, so I'm a little bit disappointed, especially with the DLC character Sebastian in Dragon Age 2. I'm so disappointed that they didn't have like him getting the throne storyline.
They completely could have went that route where he could have helped him after all was said and done play through that. No, there's definitely a lot of missteps in 2, and the funny thing is, kind of to compare Mass Effect as a series and Dragon Age, I kind of feel like both series, as the way, at least the way they're handled, are almost exactly alike. You have Mass Effect 1 and Dragon Age Origins, both phenomenal games. Everybody loved it. But the thing is, it was too much into the RPG aspect, which kind of turned off some people who aren't really so much as hardcore fans of RPGs as some people are. So they wanted something a little more streamlined. So you have Mass Effect 2 and Dragon Age 2, which is streamlined, but a little bit too much, and it kind of felt rushed in both respects. Probably Dragon Age 2 more than Mass Effect 2 because of the fact that as much as I hate to admit it, they just completely reused the maps over and over and over again.
That was just I mean, after a while you just get, I'm visiting the same area again and again.
Except for there's an invisible wall here. It wasn't there before. Or now this invisible wall's open when it wasn't there. Or it was closed before. It's just no excuse.
I feel like that's something they should have. I mean, how hard could it be to just delay it a little bit so you could have more areas? I mean, the game as a whole it has a good story. It has a good storyline. It has like 3 chapters of Hawk. So it's like the and also what they also failed was up until when you end the chapter 2 section and go into the last part of the game, suddenly if you do like all the side quests and you keep at doing all of that and you play it the normal, suddenly you will just skyrocket and kill everything instantly and don't have a problem with the rest of the game. They messed up the scaling in the last part, and I was that kind of messed up some of the I'm just beaten the boss in the second one.
You just like wrongful stomp everything.
And last fight, I was like, okay, I I won easily. I didn't have to break a sweat in that one. So
No. And yeah, and even in terms of Inquisition, looking at that now,
yeah,
I kind of feel it's going to be like Mass Effect 3. Now, the bullshit about the ending aside, because I'm one of the people that has absolutely no issue with the ending, even before the little additional thing they gave to it.
I'm gonna like the ending part. I was so upset already earlier in Mass Effect 3 because when I realized that the fact that what's her name, Tali, since she was exiled,
Yeah.
I couldn't save both of the races at that point.
Damn.
So I was like, and the realization that I needed to for that to happen, like I get it correct, and then I needed to play Mass Effect 2 again. I have never. I've told this story also on Gamer Talk Live. I've never raged so hard in my entire life. I've almost cried, painful as it was, because I played Mass Effect 2 so many times. I've never gotten an ending where everyone survived or anyone getting all the good stuff. I'm like,
Damn.
because the Paragon stuff is. They didn't
It's
do
just too cheesy.
Yeah.
No, I first time, even without looking anything up, because to me it was kind of common sense, managed to actually get everybody to survive the first time. But I was also full Paragon, which does make things a bit easier to do so. But yeah, I mean, so Mass Effect, kind of aside, I mean, the ending aside, everybody can agree that Mass Effect 3 as a whole, besides the ending, taking that into consideration, was the best out of the series. And I kind of feel that's what Dragon Age Inquisition is going to be, because like Mass Effect 3, for the most part, they really did listen to their fan base. They took into consideration a lot what people said worked from the first game and what worked from the second game and what didn't work for either game, and kind of just meshed that together into the very enjoyable experience of Mass Effect 3. And I really, from everything we've seen so far, and even you and I have discussed out of this, as far as Dragon Age Inquisition is concerned, I am like absolutely ecstatic with some of the stuff that they've been announcing and talking about, and it really feels like they really did listen to the community, and this is really going to be something for them, and it's going to be great.
Yeah. So since you have already, like, you have so much information on it, should we start with how are they intend to start the story? What is the backstory between? Like,
well, they're still pretty hush-hush on that, but there are comics out there. I haven't read them yet, but they kind of lead up to this whole Dragon Age Inquisition. And funny enough, so there's going to be some characters from previous games that are in the comics, and even some comic characters, I think at least one or two of them, they're actually going to be in Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh, cool.
But it does take place after the events of Dragon Age 2. Unfortunately, they don't say really how far into it. I'm thinking probably only a couple years, maybe not even that much.
I'm guessing it ends closely, just a couple of years after they interrogated Varric. I can assume.
More than likely. I mean, because what it says as far as Morgana, I'll talk about entirely different thing here. Morgan is concerned. She's been over in Orlay's, not Orlay. But,
she's in Orlay now as advisor to the Queen. She just came out of nowhere. I read the character sheets that they have up on this. So apparently she had been come out of nowhere, and suddenly after a while she became the advisor.
Yeah,
to
she's
the
like
Queen.
the arcane advisor to Empress Celine, but it says she's been there for 3 years. So the question is this 3 years from the end of Witch Hunt? And because the way they explained it as far as Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2, the two stories kind of took place around the same time, but you don't know so much. They didn't explain too much about when the storyline of 2 ended and
the storyline of 2 ended. I would say, as I went through the storyline of they have a storyline on the Dragon Age website, so they have a storyline.
Oh, they actually do have the timeline now.
Yeah. So from what I can tell, roughly when he does the treasure hunt is roughly around where they defeat the Darkspawn. I think when he goes off with Warwick to do the treasure stuff. as I can tell, I think that's the or somewhere after that is roughly where the Darkspawn.
Okay, because I know as far as Witch Hunt is concerned, that's the end of Dragon Age Origins, and
Yeah, yeah.
that takes place considerable amount of time past
So
what happens
I'm
there.
thinking Awakening probably takes place around the end maybe of and
Oh no, even then, Witch Hunt takes place after Awakening, as far as
yeah, yeah,
canon's
yeah, yeah.
concerned.
I'm figuring that, like, yeah, probably when uh, they Witch Hunt probably end around the same time as the Hawk storyline ends. I'm guessing they end roughly at the same time. I don't remember if Witch Hunt was on the storyline thing, but
Oh, okay, here actually I have it right here. So what happens is it is 3 years because the Mage War starts because of the events of two, which I guess since we've already kind of mentioned certain things, because of what Anders, that piece of shit, did
yeah,
as far as basically casting the first stone and doing an arcane nuke
yeah.
on the Divine's church. That's kind of what
He
sparked the
started.
war,
Yeah, has sparked
and
everyone.
the game takes place 3 years later. So it is actually 3 years. So
Mm.
the same time the end of Dragon Age 2 happened is apparently the same time of the end of Witch Hunt.
So yeah, that is pretty interesting. That so uh, I don't. I'm gonna spoil Witch Hunt. What you can do there. So you can, depending on how roughly what you did. I did my main character had a child with Morgan, and then I made my character go with Morgan.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I think a lot of people, if they chose her as a love interest, which a lot of people did,
Yeah,
that's kind of what everybody tried to do or was successful at doing.
yeah,
Which is also very interesting because at the very end of Dragon Age 2, after the interrogation, that's when you're introduced to Cassandra, who's going to be a party member and
Yeah.
confirmed love interest in Dragon Age Inquisition.
yeah,
She actually talks to Liliana, who's also going to be back and more than likely going to be a love interest.
yeah,
And they're discussing the events that are led up to this war that is now sparked.
yeah,
And they even mentioned the disappearance of not only the champion of Kirkwall, but also the hero of Ferelden.
yeah,
So it's kind of interesting because then the disappearance could be your character leaving with Morgan,
mm,
or it could be other reasons. But I really want to see them kind of, just tie up that loose end. What happened to the hero of Ferelden? What happened
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the champion of Kirkwall? And they said they may not. Both characters may not have a major part in the story, but they obviously are going to have some tie, and you will somehow see some either reference or even they stated the Dragon Age developers recently that they will have more than just a passing reference. So we'll see.
What I would like is I know, seeing how Dragon Age Inquisition is, I don't think this will be a tying up of the series. I feel like this world is too, seeing how Dragon Age 2 never really explored much of like the world at all, and
Yeah.
you in Dragon Age Origin explored whole of Ferelden, and so this one, I mean, I don't know how much you're gonna explore of the
Ooh.
whole world, but
I can answer that for you.
okay,
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
yeah,
But
no,
again,
no.
I'm just like really excited about this too. They did say that you actually are going to be going through once again a good portion of Ferelden, but you're also going to go to Orlais.
Yeah.
There's going to be a good portion of that you're going to be doing, and even a little stint in Dale.
Okay, so that's reasonable. But then, I mean, that just tells me. I mean, they won't. That this won't be the last. So what I'm hoping for is that we get hints about the hero of Ferelden, the champion of Kirkwall, but I would like to see in the a game after that, the finishing game. You could almost you could create or have the characters be sort of like how you had the characters in, and you meet the hero for Eldon, you meet the champion of Kirkwall, and you just I don't know if you could have them as members of your team or something like
That's
that. That's
what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I mean, if we somehow can get this out to where even the developers can listen, and if you
Yeah.
are listening, listen to this.
Yeah, I mean,
Do something different.
That would
Somehow
be-
make it so our saves of our characters, because you have the data. The data's there. Make our characters somehow party members if you guys are going to go for a fourth game, which would
Yeah.
be just epic.
because
Take on the Treventer Empire with the
Yeah.
hero of Ferelden, the champion of Kirkwall, and the Inquisitor.
Yeah, that would be so epic, and or yeah, I mean that would be so epic. And
It wouldn't be done before. They'd never taken like your characters from previous games and actually made them into something else that could be usable.
because my main storyline is like I have an elf warrior named Halloween, who I had from who is Dalish, and you know the storyline how that goes. And then I have a female mage, Hawk,
Yeah.
and then just having the Inquisitor. I'm probably gonna go like my first run. I like being elf warrior, so I probably would do that. But if I could if that would be the case, I probably would just go like a dwarf assassin. I don't know, like I would
Just something different to do.
Yeah, and they would just team up, and you would have.
It'd be
another.
it'd be basically the A team.
Yeah, yeah, because for me the most bad character of all time for me is my character in Dragon Age Origins. I mean,
And yeah.
I purposely fought with a darkspawn sword and a darkspawn shield just so that I could kill them off with that, because how is it that badass? Like, I'm gonna kill you with your own
with
weapons.
your own weapons. Absolutely. And you know what? It's nice too because we have some familiar faces of as I've already mentioned coming back. You have a lot of new characters coming into the fold as well, and what's really good is once again they listen to the community, and this time around you are going to be able to pick your origin. You have the choice of being either a human, an elf, a dwarf, or even this time around a Canary, because a lot of people were really asking for that as well. And you have the option of going male or female, of course, with any of those races. But to top it off, they even went as far as having 2 voice actors per gender. So you have 4 different voice actors altogether.
Okay.
You have 2, from what they understand, from what they said, 2 British voices, male, female, and 2 American voices, male, female.
Okay, that sounds reasonable enough. I mean, it's still gonna feel like for me. It was perfect with your own character, not like he wouldn't say everything you did, like the Dragon Age Origins. For me, that's the best way you do it. Like, you don't have to. I'm my own voice, sort of.
You hear yourself talking.
Yeah. So I mean, interesting with the characters. So we have seen 2 old, and like when you see the only other characters you have with you looks like is Liliana and Varric. Those are the
you have Liliana from the first one. You have Varric from the second one. Morgan's in it again, as we've already talked about, but she's going to be more of... She's a character within the game, but not somebody who's unfortunately going to be in your party.
Yeah.
You got Cassandra Pentagast. Technically, is from the second one. She wasn't she wasn't playable before, but this time around she will be.
Yeah. They were sort of hyping her up, kind of.
And that's what's great too, because there was a lot of political intrigue. We're not talking like Game of Thrones level political intrigue, but there was definitely a lot in there. Different factions, like you have the Seekers of Truth, because the Chantry for the most part was very pious. They're all about being holy, turning the other cheek, and everything like that. But then you have the Seekers of Truth, which get their hands a little bit more dirty. But for the most part, they're just supposed to be looking into matters, not so much taking action. They're just equipped with armor and weapons, because if things do take a turn for the worse, they'll be more than ready to do so.
Yeah. And it's so interesting, yeah, and in what stuff is going to happen in Inquisition, because like it doesn't sound like this is a blight or anything like that. It just sounds like you have.
Oh no, this is the world tearing itself
Yeah.
apart from the inside out.
Yeah, so
Because you have the Templar and Mage Rebellion, but at the same time, there's this huge tear in the Fade,
yeah,
or in the Veil. It's, I forget if it's called the Veil or the Fade.
fade is it called?
It's the Fade.
Yeah.
Okay, but the Veil is what separates the
Yeah,
Fade
yeah.
from our world. Okay, basically breaks open is known as the Breach, and you just have demons just
Yeah, yeah.
pouring from the sky, and then you even have Flemeth. That's what I want
Yeah.
to see. I want to know what her role is in it, because I don't think that she is the big bad. She might be, because as Morgan describes her at the end of Witch Hunt, she finds out that she's not human, never was. She's
Yeah.
basically just this inexplainable there's force of just darkness that should be feared.
Yeah,
But I'm wondering if she has a puppet master or if she's the big bad. I'd be happy either way.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's interesting to see how
I'm
that
wondering
plays out.
also what was it called in Awakening? The Architect.
Yeah, I don't think she's an architect. 'Cause the architect was a darkspawn. She's
yeah,
definitely
I
something.
know, but I wonder what kind of role he will have in Inquisition
Oh.
if you killed him or not. Because I let him live because I wanted to know what he would do in future games.
Yeah, and so I mean that's really the story. Is you have Flemeth, she actually has a tie in it. You have Morgan, you're not sure what her tie is, and
Yeah,
you have the Godchild, as everybody jokes about,
yeah,
which is basically what she had, either with or without you.
yeah,
And it's just so many things just culminating to just this massive conflict.
yeah,
Because now you have the Inquisition. Your character, nobody even knows what the hell's up with your character,
Yeah.
because there's this huge, you just see charred remains everywhere.
yeah,
And your character is the only one who remains. And even Cassandra's like, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you, but you're the only threat I see.
yeah.
And your hands are even glowing very similar to the color of what the breach is. So you know
Yeah.
your character has something to do with the breach.
Yeah, and I would always say it's a Riven-like situation with the character. It is the feel of it, like you have a character you like so powerful, but you don't.
I had
know
a
why.
joke theory that the character you're playing as is the Godchild, but there's just not enough time that's passed for your character to mature, unless their reasoning is magic, bitch. Deal
Yeah,
with
yeah. I was going to say. I was going to say that something like that would happen, but I mean,
That would be too cheesy.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know
and,
if I could accept that.
and
Your
like,
character's the Godchild, but there's only been a few years.
yeah. Or wait. How fast do you age in the Fade or whatever it is they were in, the world that they were in? I mean, they could like age.
That's true. That could be like the hyperbolic time chamber, Dragon Ball Z reference. Yes.
Well, no,
Like
it's not.
years past there, and even though it's like only
No,
a day or
but
so
then you
here.
couldn't choose different races. Come on, like
This is actually no. That was actually going to be, I think, what shot me down the first time. Is I'm
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, you had the different races now.
you Morgan got the Kunari. That'd be something.
It's like, wait a minute, that's not my child.
Yeah.
It could be that your character is just the conduit to the Fade, but well, again, I mean, we're speculating highly on it. There's not
Yeah.
too much details, nor would we want it to be ruined for us yet. But it's still very
Possessed
exciting
by
time.
a demon. That would be so hilarious. A friendly demon who is.
Hey, it was done with Justice.
Yeah.
Remember, Justice was in Anders until Anders fucked that up.
Yeah. And but he wasn't a demon. He was.
Well, he's a virtue.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, because in the Fade, there's also virtues.
Yeah.
So who's to say like one of the virtues didn't possess one of the soldiers on the battlefield
Mm.
to go ahead and try and bring order not only to the Fade but also to our realm.
Yeah. Justice
But-
was cool. Anders were not.
But they are really pushing political intrigue more so in this game than any of the previous games, because one, it's the Inquisition. The whole
Yeah.
point of the Inquisition is to find the answers and to stop things. There's even the fact that one of the gameplay mechanics is once you take over different keeps, you can go ahead and make it either a mercantile keep for resources and all that other good stuff. The whole point, it could be for espionage, which
Yeah.
espionage, the whole point is gathering information, figuring what's going on. It could become something for mages, or even for something for just normal warriors.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of funny. Like it feels like now we used to have in the first one we had wardens who were like badass. Now we're trying to one up this with the Inquisition that has rights to do anything. Sort of feel like, so it's sort of funny how to
It's like Inquisition, bitch. We're doing
Yeah.
it.
That's kind of funny. Different aspects, like you have factions that like overrule everyone in certain situations. That's sort of funny how that world works, really.
And there's just so much chaos going on in the world of this game, because it's not only just the demons. You also have the conflict between the mage and the Templars, which has been going on, hinted at least from the beginning of 1,
Yeah.
has kind of just come to a boil in 2, and now it's just full-blown war.
Yeah.
And everybody has different, and that's the beauty of, again, BioWare games. Everybody has different interpretations of this situation, how
Yeah.
they feel about it. Like me, I'm stuck in the middle, because I mean, you have the Treventer Empire, which is what put the fear of magic into everybody to begin with, and they're still around.
Yeah.
They used to own everything. Now they're pushed back kind of to their little space of the world, but they're still very much very powerful. A lot of them are corrupted by the power of magic. Some of them have even gone as far as becoming demons or abominations themselves. So it's understandable why the Chantry came up with the Templars to begin with, because they have the ability to kind of cancel out or even just stop a lot of that stuff from happening with their own abilities. But the problem is, like any good story, or even like kind of just look at our own social society, you have people who were put into such high points of authority that abuse such power.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it came to the point where the Templars, not the Chantry, because Chantry was kind of more lenient. The Templars, especially Meredith, that crazy bitch, just kept pushing and pushing and pushing to the point where if you're treating everybody as guilty, of course they're going to start committing crimes.
Yeah.
Because you're already damning them.
It's such a sad situation. You have them pushing them, and then you have the head leader of the order in Kirkwall just in the end they're just like, fuck this, I can't take this anymore. I mean,
which was a shitty way of doing it.
Yeah, no, but it's I know
understandable.
I understand completely what they're trying to do. It is like there's no winning person in this whole fight. Everyone is a loser, except maybe the hero, because then the hero and his people are the only ones currently seeing. They have to take sides, unfortunately, but they're like, this isn't the way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, I ended up joining the mages because as much as I believe in what the Templars stand for, at least it is under Meredith's rule, and those Templars, they were completely in the wrong in the way they're handling it. Even Cullen, remember Cullen from like the first one?
Yeah.
And he was in the second one? And he hated mages in the first one.
Yeah.
You could either try and change his mind, which you can kind of, if you did it in the first one and continued in the second one, you could make him sympathetic towards mages. Yeah. Even Colin, even if he was straight hating on mages, even looked at Meredith and went, "Damn, you're too intense."
Yeah. And it's completely it's so interesting situation because you can't see it black or white, which is the bottom line of the whole Dragon Age 2. You can't
there's so many different shades of gray that you have to consider.
So I'm thinking of like Inquisition is probably to continue that route.
Oh,
and
definitely.
I think they did at least better with the like Paragon Renegade like answers you have. Like you don't really have that sort of like you didn't have like bad or good, it's just answers sort of more feeling.
Yeah.
And that's something I had problem with in like Mass Effect series. It's too ridiculous. You can't, like, sometimes you want to do something a little bit that's douchebaggery. I mean, that's why I probably never managed to like Mass Effect 2, why I couldn't go full paragon, because sometimes there's like glowing red renegade thing, and you're like,
I just have to hit it because this is gonna be awesome.
yeah, exactly. So
No, I can totally agree, and that's why I also appreciate the Dragon Age universe because, yeah, it doesn't go based off of the standard black, white, or light and dark morality system. What it instead does is they had the rivalry system. It wasn't called the rivalry system in 1, but basically what your actions did is they affected how your teammates viewed you.
yeah,
So if you did a completely dick move, you may have when she might be like, "Oh, that was fucked up. I don't like you so much." But Morgan would be like, "Oh, that was awesome. Do it again," and she'd like you more. And that's really, I feel, a better system for a game like this, or even just most games in general, versus the morality system. Because I'm all for morality, and I am a Boy Scout through and through.
Yeah.
But everybody shouldn't feel that way, because sometimes doing the wrong thing. I hate to admit this. Exactly.
Sometimes you have to do bad things for sake of mankind, or or like the world.
Exactly.
And yeah,
and they've already detailed some of the characters. Some of them they said are going to be party members, some not so much. Alistair's going to be back. He's going to be either a Grey Warden or, depending on your decision, the King of Ferelden.
Yeah.
They haven't said whether or not he's going to be a party member. He's probably not.
Nice. I must say, Alistair is one of those who missed. I love his voice actor, because he was the voice actor is also an actor who was in that show called. It was like a morgue show. I can't remember, and he's so cool. So when I heard him in Dragon Age, and he just does Alistair so well. So.
Yeah, Cullen's gonna be in it. He's not gonna be he's not gonna be like a companion or a party member. However, he is gonna have the option to romance him, which all the Cullen fangirls are absolutely excited for. You have a Talvashoth mercenary, basically people who left the Qunari, but are Qunari. His name's Iron Bull, so you could already tell he's going to be like Berserker.
You just saw him in the Inquisition video. He's just standing there,
massive.
all badass. I'm like, that dude is so good. It's like
he's gonna wreck face.
Yeah, no, but I mean, in Dragon Age Origins, when I got the like, what is it, the collector's edition. A couple of years later, and I was like, I'm going Shale every time, every day, and I always picked, me and Grunt were like the team in Mass Effect 2.
Like this.
Yeah. We were the best team ever. So especially that part in Mass Effect 3 was when I saw Grunt again. That was, for me, was best part.
But yeah, you have Liliana, as we mentioned before, probably a million times over. Same thing with Morgan.
She, if we are going through the first, my first story, she died in my first.
Are you serious? How did she die? Did you kill her?
I didn't went into the bar. I never went into the bar my first run. So I got Sten, but I didn't think about going in there. I don't know why, but like then
it's an RPG. You go in everywhere. You do everything.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I'm like, you just playing the game, then maybe you forget to like. It's first time playing the game, and it's like I remember halfway through the game, I was like, I thought I saw something about another character. I mean, am I not gonna get her? And then I checked up online, and you were like, she was in the first town you get to, and like, she's so dead.
Take a chance. Let's see. You have Sarah, an elven archer, new to the story. Solus, an apostate elven mage, also new to the story. Of course, Varric, because you cannot have Dragon Age past Dragon Age 2 without having Varric. He's an essential part of everything now.
Yeah, I must say, the interesting thing is the character I got attached the most to in Dragon Age 2 was Fenris. Is his name right? The elf.
Yes, Fenris. Fenris was the one who was
Imbued
slave
with
to the
lyrium.
Dementor. Yep.
Because he
That's
was. I mean, to be honest, I mean that's sort of like how I saw. Like sometimes I understand why they took him maybe out of this, because I mean he should be better than he really is. It's just like Yak in Mass Effect. Like she should be so much stronger than all of us and kick.
The way they explain, she should just be able to just blow everything up with her mind.
Yeah, I mean, you're like, this is ridiculous. She should be like better than, same thing with Fenris. Like the lyrium thing, he should just wreck faces.
He
much
like
more.
just about unstoppable.
Yeah.
Thamond, new character. He's going to be a human captain of the Inquisition. Vivian, although I think I may be mispronouncing her name, so forgive me, is a Pro Circle mage, and she used to be the senior enchanter in Orlais.
Yes.
She's
She
going to
has
join.
a funny hat or funny weird. She's a character on the Dragon Age.
That's because they're French, and French people always got to dress up all weird and shit. Orlais is
Yeah.
France. And then you have an unknown returning character from the comic Dragon Age Asunder, which, like I said, kind of bridged the gap between Dragon Age 2 and what's going to be going on with Dragon Age 3 Inquisition.
Okay, where can you find these comics? Because I would love to read them.
I believe Dark Horse is still the one that kind of publishes it. Not too certain. I could be completely wrong on that. I'm wondering if you could find it online though. If you were to go ahead and like go through Amazon or certain places, it shouldn't be too hard to run into.
That's something I'm going to go and look at after I'm done with.
But there's also little short stories, kind of like what a lot of video games do. Even I think Mass Effect done it at one point. That takes place kind of before even the events of Dragon Age, or even some of it takes place in Dragon Age 2. So there's definitely a lot of stuff, if you really want to get deep into the lore and enjoy it, that there's books and comics to also kind of jump right into. But yeah, I mean, so there's so much that they're planning on doing, and just the graphics look great. And I'm not one so much for graphics. It's not what's really most important to me, but they did a great job with that. Again, they said the whole political intrigue, the whole keep system, your actions are going to have a greater effect on the story. So they say. I mean, we'll see what they can do with it.
That's something you always like.
You always
what
hear.
are we basing that on? From what are our ground points for like? So yeah.
But what they are doing right off the bat, what they're saying is the way you do romance is now completely different.
Yeah, I've
it's
heard
not going to be
because it's
just keep pouring gifts on the person. And eventually, they'll like you enough to where you can go ahead and get some kind of romance.
Yeah.
Now this time around, it's going to be completely situational. So the way you got to work is if there's a certain person you want to romance, you kind of have to keep them in the party, and it's based on how you handle certain situations. It's how you're going to build your way to romance with a given character.
Yeah. I mean, I'm already weakening to be the Cassandra character, like a badass, like female character. Why wouldn't you enjoy? That's just how I see it. But I mean, I wouldn't have Leliana, seeing how I never bothered to talk to her at all in Dragon Age Origins, even when I had her in the 3 or 4 other times I played Dragon Age Origins. I never cared about her at all, so I don't know, she was boring.
And in this time around too, like again, it's like a huge, just chaotic war, because it's not only just the people as far as just the demons and the mages and the Templars fighting each other. There's new factions. You have the Red Templars, which the Red Templars, thanks to the Champion of Kirkwall, more or less, are just Templars that are hopped up on red lyrium, because ever since they opened up that closed off area, red lyrium's now a thing again, and it corrupts the mind because it's like demon lyrium. So you have to worry about those assholes. You have a new faction of bandits. I almost forget what they're called.
So the red lyrium is going to basically be Dead Space.
Oh no, the Templars are still themselves.
Yeah, okay.
They're not like demons. It's just they're mad. They're like not like mad, like angry. They're mad as in they're bad shit crazy, and they just really want to try and stop you. But they're hopped up on the same red lyrium that basically corrupted, and in the end, before she died, transformed Meredith.
Yeah, that red lyrium is
no joke.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already bad enough that you had Templars getting hopped up on normal lyrium, but now you kind of get hopped up on red
Yeah.
lyrium. This is definitely a recipe for disaster. Oh, classes. You're gonna get your Reaver.
Yes, nice.
They're bringing back a lot of the classic classes. I mean, you have
Yeah.
warrior, you have mage, you have
I saw a
rogue.
lot of. There were five. Were like, where the three different classes, right?
Yeah, it's going to be 3 different specializations for each. As far as like what you said, the way they also word it, it's only going to be a single specialization,
Yeah.
which kind of makes me sad
Yeah,
because
I mean,
Oh.
unless they can like have an unless they have neutral specialization, which I could be cool with, because I sort of feel like some of the combinations feels ridiculous that you
like
would,
it's just you wouldn't see it. You wouldn't
Yeah,
see a
yeah.
Reaver Templar.
yeah, exactly. So I mean that's always made me feel like this seems weird. So I would love to see that you could have something more. So if they could have a neutral that all of them you like have 3 neutrals that you can have extra specialization. I haven't heard any about that, but that would be
Yeah, but they do have the 3. I am kind of torn because like you and I discussed, I always play as a champion, but
Yeah.
I always did like Templar as a secondary thing.
yeah.
But now I'm really leaning towards doing Templar because each of the classes kind of has a backstory. So
Yeah.
they took it a little bit further. And just to be able to play as a Templar during a huge
Yeah.
Templar and Mage War,
You
I
would
think would
piss
really add
everyone
some
off.
depth to it.
I feel like you would piss everyone off just saying, "Yeah, I'm a Templar." Like, yes,
Well, it depends where you're at.
yeah,
They either
mages
kiss
would
your
love
ass
you.
and think you're a hero, or they want to kill you on the spot.
Yeah. So, what type of mages do they? Are we guessing? I mean,
They're not. They don't really show, and it kind of sucks because you
I
have
was trying to
mage.
guess. Like, are they gonna? I mean, I almost feel like one of them has to be almost blood mage. I mean, I know it would be a really.
You would have to see that coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can really see it.
I mean, that would be such an interesting storyline if you were a blood mage and still maybe going good or something
Exactly.
like that.
I mean, there's just there's depth in just even just picking your specialization. But you have Knight Enchanter, which Knight Enchanter is
Yes.
more or less the Arcane Warrior.
Yeah,
They just gave it a different name, which is still
Yeah.
going to be pretty cool to be a Knight Enchanter.
yeah. And the
They
other
only
one-
have 2 icons, and I'm not really sure because the icons really don't give you a good idea. One of them is more likely going to be apostate, like blood magic, that
Yeah.
kind of deal.
And I
um,
was guessing almost shapeshifter.
Actually, that's what the last icon might be because it really doesn't show an animal, but what
Yeah.
it shows like a mage's face. And it's cut in half. One side's normal, and the other side's inverted.
I mean, I'm trying to remember where the like 4 mage thing you could have in the first one.
well, you had the spirit healer. You had the arcane.
Yeah, or healer.
mage.
That's right.
But the image they show you for the specialization doesn't look like a healer at all.
No, and it doesn't feel like a shapeshifter as well. So I'm sort of feeling like maybe it's just I don't know.
Rogue, you have artificer, which is basically going to be more of the trap master.
Yeah, and then an
You
assassin
have
is
yeah,
one of
yes,
them.
everybody knows Rogue's going to get assassin.
Yeah.
It's an RPG.
And
They
then,
always have these.
and one of them almost looks like stealth, but I mean that sort of feel like assassin
yeah, I
as
mean, I
well.
wouldn't see why they wouldn't have the Shadow Master again.
Yeah,
And that kind of what the last icon does look a little bit like.
yeah. So that's yeah, I'm really feeling a lot of these. I've never really gone rogue. Really, I went one of times I played Dragon Age 2. I think I tried rogue, but I mostly have done mage or warrior. So my first attempt will be as a warrior reaver, because with an elf.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so much going on, so much to be hyped up and excited for.
Unless I go Kunari, that's the only other thing I could think of going.
That would be definitely a way to go. Hey, guess what I'm gonna be?
Human.
Yeah, it's a long-standing joke. If for some reason
Yeah.
in RPGs, if there's different races, I always just stick to a human, and I always go for the sword and shield warrior. Now,
Yeah.
what I said was kind of taken out of context in a message before. I said I like playing it that way because they're the underdog,
Yeah.
and humans are rarely the underdog in fantasy settings.
Yeah.
What I mean, I guess, in terms of underdog is that other races have things they excel at.
Yeah.
Versus humans are always just the balance. They really don't have anything too special about
unless
them.
you are an elf in. Elf is sort of like the shit race in Dragon Age.
Yeah, they really
That's
don't
why
get too
I'm
much.
playing elves in Dragon Age, because they're kind of the underdog race. So we're both going for, in our minds, the
Our
underdog.
own, yeah.
Because
But
they-
also the class is, I guess, where I figure more about the underdog. Because magic users are magic users. They can blast you away from a mile away. They have
Yeah.
the ability to warp reality itself. So somebody with just a sword and shield, to me, wouldn't stand as much chance as a lot of the other classes. That's
Yeah.
why also I like the whole sword and shield thing. 'Cause to me, it feels like you really have to fight harder. You really have to have more determination to really take these things down.
Yeah.
Because you're always fighting face to face. You really don't have any natural advantages.
Yeah. I'm liking the options you have for warrior. I feel like they're balanced. You have champion is sort of like the standard. Then you have the tank, more like the more defensive is Templar. The more attacking is the Reaver. So it's sort of like what you would expect for a warrior. You have one do more damage, the one that takes more damage, and one that's more all round.
Absolutely, and that's kind of why I want to go. Like I said, I like the champion because then I can be very. I can still kick ass. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but I'm very defensive, and I can go ahead and rally my teammates because I'm always like a huge team player. But like Templar for the story, God,
Yeah, I don't even know what they would do with Reaver. I mean, it's never. I've never thought of that as having a backstory, sort of, like, because it's. I
well, the
always-
Reavers are dying out, so you'd probably be more or less like the last of your kind,
Yeah,
going based off of the whole. Not so much. It's kind of blood magic, but you're not a mage.
Yeah.
You basically just learn how to go through that.
yeah, and
Is it-
it's like they
'Cause of
the
the
more
order.
pains you like. I mean, it's kind of funny how Berserker and Reaver, sort of the same thing.
They're the same but different.
Yeah, they like excel in pain and blood.
Which is probably why they just went with Reaver instead of Berserker.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and because Reaver kind of have an apparent weakness, which is defense. So, and
Oh, yeah,
Berserker,
'cause they put themselves on the line to do a lot more damage.
yeah, and Berserker is just rage.
Just rage for days.
Yeah,
Rage for days.
yeah. So yeah, as you can tell, we are pretty hyped. I mean, we are approaching the hour mark with this one. So, I mean, I can't begin to explain how excited I am to. It's for me. It's this. I'm so happy that I'm getting at least 2 games this year that I'm just games that I've dreamed of, and it's this one, Dragon Age Inquisition. Because Dragon Age sure is my favorite game of all time, and then I have also Dreamfall chapters I'm looking forward to in November, because
Yeah.
I loved other Dreamfall games, so hype for this. And if it was also Kingdom Hearts coming out this year, it would be literally my best gaming year of all time. Just because of that, games are shit.
Yeah, they don't make them like they used to.
Yeah, but yeah, it's sort of the combat feels it's like you can you can go the old style that's in the first one, or you can go kind of the Witcher 2/3
Yeah, that's
one.
what I guess I forgot to bring up was exactly what you pointed out. The combat system. It's going to be either like Dragon Age 1 or Dragon Age 2 in terms
Yeah.
of the way you want to play it.
Yeah, so
So you can bring back that tactical feel or stick to the hack and slash.
yeah, So I know like people I've heard like Witcher. I one of the comments I heard like Witcher. It looks like how Witcher 2 was a couple of years ago. Blah blah blah. But what I'm looking forward to is because everything looks like it takes a long time to kill in Witcher and stuff. That never really appealed to me. That's why I don't like Dark Souls and that sort of stuff doesn't appeal to me. That normal like characters are as so hard to kill as like almost like boss battles, and I never appealed to me that those are so much so hard to kill. So
Yeah.
or at least no, the time it takes to kill them sort of are the same. What I would want to get to. So I'm probably going to go for the Dragon Age 2 thing because I'm not that much of a strategy person, even though it's nice to look back to the old BioWare style.
I might be doing a little bit of both. There may be certain times where I'll probably pause combat to kind of come up with something as far as a plan or just to set up. But for the most part, I'm probably going to stick to the Dragon Age 2 style combat. Because to me, the only way RPGs are going to evolve, or at least to the point where people are actually going to want to play them versus the diehard hardcore people, is to make it more modern. And the way to make it more modern is to
It's
make it a
like-
hack and slash RPG.
Yeah, like an action.
Make it fast paced.
Yeah.
Still may somehow give it some kind of strategy, but keep it fast paced. And that's really what Dragon Age Inquisition is trying
By
to do.
the way, didn't like the Enchanter end up in Orlais?
Which one?
He always the dwarf master savant enchanter.
Oh, you mean
What the fuck is
Damn.
that?
Are you talking about the? Oh, it's gonna kill me. The sun?
Enchantment.
Yeah, enchantment. Oh no, that's gonna bother me. I need to find out now. All right, here. You keep talking. I'm gonna look this up. Just
Oh man,
talk about Dragon
just-
Age.
because in the end of Dragon Age 2 they got a position to help some sort of emperor or whatever it is, and I
Yes, they
vaguely
went
remember
to-
it being Orlais.
Yeah, no, they were going to Orlais.
Yeah.
All right, I found it. It's Sandal
Sandal, that's correct.
or Sandal, but still.
The best moment in whole Dragon Age 2 for me was when he made that ogre became a crystal thing. When they are in the the ancient dwarf place, and you're like, can you find my boy Sandal? And you're like, hey, about like enchantment. And how did you do that? Like just pointing at the like
Not enchantment.
yeah.
So that's what was another thing is you got to figure he may actually be like the first dwarven mage.
Yeah, that would be, or I mean, it's been hinted that like they tried to experiment with lyrium. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't have. I don't see him as a mage, but I see him more as a master lyrium master.
He could be imbued with lyrium or just
No,
able
he
to
don't
use
have-
it to his advantage.
I don't say he have to. Yeah, I was sort of like I had like a. Because I have a dwarf story I sort of created myself for, like, if I ever would like to write a story about dwarfs where I had like one of the like sort of side races were like imbued with sort of lyrium style of stuff.
Or he could be similar to an alchemist, to where he may
Yeah.
not necessarily have the magic, and maybe not even so much the enchantments, but through use of lyrium, he can bend it to his will, in a sense.
Yeah, and you have, if you did, in Dragon Age Origins, there is this girl who wants to work for.
She's gonna be back in 3.
She is.
Dagna.
Yeah.
Dagna.
Because
If
she
you helped her out.
discovers some sort of lyrium stuff. She became sort of like a master of lyrium, and I can't remember her invention she did, and that sort of she almost got a paragon status, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly. So I can't remember exactly what.
And she wanted to study more, and what you could do is if you already helped out over in the Circle of Magi, you can go ahead and put in a good word for her, and they may even take her in and let her read the books and whatnot, and
Yeah.
just learn more. It's been said that she will actually be back, not as a playable character, but she's definitely going to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
in there. Which I guess kind of brings up another point. Something EA and BioWare have been talking about is because you have the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and obviously they're going to push it for those systems.
Yeah.
They're coming up with a system known as Dragon Age Keep. I'm signed up for beta, and I'm hoping I make it into it.
Yeah.
But it's going to be like an interactive comic, more so than what Mass Effect gave you. It's supposed to be a little bit more interactive,
Yeah.
possibly
Because,
like
you
a
have-
point-and-click adventure.
Because you have to get in more stuff than you needed to get in like Mass Effect, because you could have everything in because everything is on like the same console, and it's not going on to another console, so that's why you need it more for
Exactly.
if you have Xbox One or I'm almost debating whether or not depending on how good Dragon Age Keep is. If Dragon Age Keep is good, I'm going with having it for PS4. Otherwise, I'm maybe getting it for Xbox 360 because I mean
That's my problem too.
I have so much hours. I have so long storylines and I've done exactly
Just
everything.
so much story and just all the side plot too.
Yeah.
That's my concern, because they did say that Dragon Age Awakening is going to play a part in, like, certain things you did in there are going to affect the story of Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yeah.
So if Keep doesn't have that stuff in there, I'm going to be like, well, crap. Even though I need games for my PlayStation 4 to kind of justify it, well, I would have it either way, and I'm happy that I have it, but I would like games to play on it.
Yeah.
So if they're going to go ahead and Dragon Age Keep's not going to include that, then unfortunately I am going to have to go with the Xbox 360 version. But what they say, and I'm not sure how this is going to work, is there going to be a way to import your data into Keep from your Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3, and then from there it can be modified, like fix any kind of the logic gaps or anything that may be plot holes, and then it can be from there downloaded to your Xbox One or PlayStation 4. Now they do that, that'll be perfect.
Yeah, but the problem is, it feels like weird if you go from the Xbox to the PS4. I'm hoping you can go cross.
No, it should be, because the way it's supposed to work is it's just data, like it's just story data that's being uploaded to Keep. The Keep's gonna be able to parse that data and just make like a template of story, regardless of, from what they say, regardless of system. Because I'm not getting an Xbox One, so if it's like, oh, Xbox 360 data, oh no, I'm sorry. Either create a blank story that doesn't have all your data for PlayStation 4 and get on Xbox 360. I'll be like, oh well, shit, getting on 360, I guess.
Yeah. So I think we are wrapping up to a close here. What else? Is there anything we haven't really covered so far? I feel like this have been.
Oh, we were pretty thorough, and I'm sorry. I think I kind of overpowered you through most of it.
No. You have more information than I have, and I haven't really gotten so deep into. Like, I'm personally gonna get the comics myself, because I'm like, when it comes to other games, I've been like, and you hear about how Blizzard always do in between stuff for there, and I'm like. Never have I really been that interesting in something like that until something like this, the Dragon Age world. So I'm definitely gonna get that, and hopefully that will like also maybe hype me for a character that I'm like, oh shit, this character is so cool. I'm gonna use him in my team. In I wonder how many. I mean, I always feel like so bad how many team members. I feel like it's gonna be 3 party members, probably.
What do you mean, as far as what you'll be traveling with?
Yeah.
I think it's just 3. I think it's your main character, you, and then 2 other people.
So it's not. So it's not gonna be 4 as the first.
I don't think it's gonna be 4.
That sucks. I
It may or may not
be. Like, why can't I just
Because at least from like the gameplay that they showed, the gameplay was just
Yeah, and
the
they're
three
just
people.
running up three people. Damn it! Why does every fucking game do this? They always like shorting up to you can only have 3 members. That's so annoying.
Design limitations.
Especially if you have like yeah, you're gonna have so many characters, but you can only have 2 with you. That's so gonna be so annoying.
It is.
Because then I mean it that will be like, oh, I want to go back and play the game again. Maybe that's the way they want you to do, and like you have to skip caring about these characters and yeah. So where can we find your stuff? Plug yourself for the masses.
Oh man, plugging myself. I don't know if that's really appropriate for. Well, actually, no. It's the internet. The internet's full of porn, so why not? No, you go ahead. Easiest way to find me would be on YouTube, www.youtube.com, AMZAVEGAMEANT, or just type in search amazingly average gameplay of Anthony,
Yeah.
and I would hope that I'm one of the top results.
Yeah.
Otherwise, YouTube's doing it wrong.
Yeah, Amsav Gamant. I mean,
Yes.
it's easy. That's one it's easy to say, but I just like to pulling Anthony Shane just because it's just
It's all over the place.
yeah.
And blah 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 blah.
Yeah. So yeah, on Twitter you have been able to see that across the screen for the whole episode. So if you can't find it, you're blind, and if you are blind, thank you for listening.
Yes, we appreciate the patronage as well.
Yeah. So yes, I will. I don't know when I will do my next podcast. It probably will be sometime next week. Probably. You never know what's happening with life, so I can't say which day. But yeah, thank you all for listening, and I will see you guys another time. Bye.
Until next time.